Okay, thank you so much for coming to this week's Western PA Ohio Investment Accountability Group. I am not Jack Stewart. I am TradeBetter99, also first name Harrison, if for whoever cares. I am subbing in today for just talking about the market, what it looks like. I'm in my first 90 days of doing my due diligence for everything. And I am just wanting to share two properties that I found and wanted to share with the group, just see what people think, what they're interested in, and if there's any holes that can be poked in, or maybe a large brick thrown through a window. We'll see what happens here. But I'm excited. Yeah, and we're waiting for the group to trickle in, but I just wanted to kind of get started and see how things go. Might backtrack a little bit, but happy to have you here, Mustafa. And yeah, please, anyone as they join in, uh, questions, you don't have to raise your hand, just interrupt, and we'll just have a free for all chat here. So yeah, thank you. All right, so let me share my screen as I'm looking. Okay. Oh, all right. Can my screen be seen or no? No.
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, excellent. All right. So this is an interesting one. So this is 100 Dempsey Street. This is an interesting one because it's a 5 room, three bath. It looks like it's two 1.5 baths, which is interesting. It's on the southern side here. Let me just expand it for context right here. So I'm interested in looking for places that have jobs, and this is just sorry for the zoom in and zoom out, but there is a all right. So right up here is right where the airport is. So it's about 20 to 25 minutes from there, and you can actually take back roads or even the main highway. So there's a lot of ways to get in there, and I know the airport has a fair amount of jobs there, so I'm pretty excited about it. What's interesting though is that yeah, there's parking everywhere. It's in a relatively good, I mean, school system and everything. It's fixed up. There's just it's one of those things of why hasn't it not been pulled off the market yet? Because I honestly looking at the pictures, maybe it's just the pictures are too good. I mean, yeah, the deck's a little old. I mean, I'm not complaining about that. The carpet, I mean, it's a little dated. Okay, cool. Awesome. Hey Mal, great to see you. Um, and then yeah, I mean, it's a large yard, which maintenance could always be painful. I guess the only other thing I see along here is I'm not sure how bad the storms are. I'm one that used to live near hills and everything, and I'm always nervous about seeing property go down. It's like as someone who's seen flooding, my fair share of flooding, I'm always nervous about it. I think that's probably the only thing that made me have a second thought about it. And then also it's at the end of a busy street. I'm not sure, as you can tell, there's a main road up here and kind of it's a T section here. So I don't know how much. And once again, this is just there was a YouTuber, Rose Hahn, who had the same situation and had a car go through her house and for one of her rentals, and that's something I'm not too crazy about. But other than that, I fantastic school district if you're trying to rent for a small family or anything. It's not a huge unit, but it and as far as I figured out, you're getting 900 easy on these, maybe up to 1,000 per unit. And I'm not worried about rent it. I'm not worried about the rents. It would be higher in the market as for sure. There's not a lot available there as well, and yeah, I the biggest question is, am I missing something? I think that's my biggest worry there. Oh, and then yeah, just scrolling down as well. They're looking at the sold. There's a fair amount of sold in the area as well in the last year, so Anyway, so that was my first one. Hi, Lena.
Oh, hello.
Great to see you. I'm sorry, I am Jack for the day, so just
No worries.
yeah. So just as a this is one of the first properties that's south of the airport. Looks good. It's been on the market for a while. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it. The only thing I can think of is maybe the yard's too big or something because there's perfect parking and everything for it. And then for the second one, this is an interesting one. So this is actually a quadplex. The other one was a duplex. This is a quadplex, but it's 411s. And I'm not sure how this market goes. And looking at the pictures alone, it's pretty eclectic. But I mean, it's not, believe it or not, it actually doesn't look like it's in bad shape, which is exciting for me. As for my Ohio house, was definitely some value add and needed some serious work. This looks like, while not pretty, it could work for most people. I'm not sure about that shower curtain, but that's easy to change. But um, and it looks like there's kitchenettes rather than full kitchens, maybe for some of them. I'm not. There's definitely some more due diligence, and the fact that this was already pending once and it's now back on the market once again. It's always those, well, what did I miss, or what did they get? What did they miss? Once again, I'm always curious about the yards and everything, but it's on a relatively flat plane. It's closer to the river, which is one of those, maybe, but I mean, I like the metal roofs as Jack said before, it's like you can get those 50, 60-year roofs and you don't have to worry about it for the life of it. It's in a Once again, it's in Allegheny, so prices are a little bit higher, but I mean, as you see, it's like 3 days back on the market. It's already got, over 600 views. I don't know the Coropolis market, but that's what I'm trying to figure more out. I mean, everything about it seems pretty legit. The biggest question is that usually for the one ones, you pigeonhole yourself into a single spot. And oh, geez, I didn't realize on how long it's been. So, oh, okay. So maybe they fixed it up. I'm sorry. Yeah, but usually when you look at these things, I don't know why the listing was removed. It might have been maybe they just weren't biting on the market. So that's just kind of what,
Well, you know what
you
people do when something sits for too long? It goes stale and they have to
Yeah,
reduce the price, so they cheat the system by removing it and put it back like a new listing.
yeah. No, that's a great point because I
Because
mean,
they
but
didn't
they'll
reduce the price, they just wanted to start as a new listing.
right. Yeah. So it looks like they've had it for 10 years. It's everything. I mean, once again, I just don't know if they rent out fast because once again, I mean, these would rent out maybe 500 a unit. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's on the low end. Um, I mean, school systems, not the greatest, but usually, like what Dion usually says, it's like if it's a 1-1, you're not going to care anyway, because usually you're not going to have family members there. Um, I think the two biggest questions I would have for this is, I mean, yeah, what would flood insurance look like? And then, yeah, as you said, Elena, maybe it's just they didn't get what they wanted, but I mean, geez, only 2, 3 weeks on the market and no bite or taking it off right away. There's something suspicious about it, so I would always want to look more into it. But and
Do you
it
have
also looks like,
access? Do you have access to PropStream?
no, I don't use PropStream.
What I do with my market is
Mm-hmm.
I go to community municipal website,
Mm-hmm.
tax prep, and I see how it's being recorded. And it
Uh,
shows, like, for example, it's recorded to the bank, it shows how much bank owns of it,
okay.
like, meaning maybe if you find municipal website, you will be able to see if it's a deed, if it's a trust, if
Oh,
it's
that's
underwater.
right. That's a great way to say. Yeah, thank you. I know. I've been always nervous about pulling the trigger. I usually was it prop wire was the one that I used, but I would also say it's great for I would say, if you're looking briefly or quickly at it, but it doesn't always have the most up-to-date data.
Prop
Okay.
wire,
Yeah, prop wire.
it doesn't have up-to-date data.
It does have it usually is up to date, but sometimes if and this is what I would say with most AI data is that sometimes if it doesn't know right away, it will guess what the estimated pay for everything is. So
Do you have any tries left on a rentometer? We can figure out how many
yeah, it's
units.
well then, let's check that out. Last thing I'll say before we do that, I actually use Rentcast. But
Which
so it
means you
looks
have 3 or 5 tries on the rentometer
right.
as a free trial.
Okay. Okay, rentometer.
What are you using so I can try that? Rent? Cast?
Rentcast, yeah. So Rentcast.
I'm gonna go get my glasses. I don't see
No problem,
things.
you're fine. Oh, Rent. Cast of Rent. All right, there we go. But anyway, so what I also find very interesting about this section is that there's a parking in the back, which means that you could potentially add another unit. So I don't know how, usually Jack was telling me that it's pretty easy to add detached units or anything working with it. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, back to, so copy here. Sure. All right. All right. So we'll scroll down. Usually what? Oh, start free. Here we go. Thank you all for your patience. It's all right. So looking here, got it right there. So we got multifamily bedroom one, and so let's search. Oop, one and okay, search. And then so not bad. So the estimated rent would be 960 for a one. That's ambitious. But yeah, so I guess one unit, so it's a unit two.
Somebody showed me yesterday that you can do low estimate and a high estimate, and he in
Hmm.
calculations only puts the low estimate. So do you see it's on the 750 side?
Yeah, that's where I would go. I was like, I would always I always price for the lower rents for
Yep.
whenever I look at a property.
So 750.
And yeah, so 750, that's not bad at all. I mean, so if you're paying maybe 1200 like all in and out for maybe what is it counting in maybe 1300 for mortgage based on the rates. I mean, renting out 2 units, there you go. And then they were all paying their own utilities and everything, so there you go. I mean, doesn't look bad. I don't know how fast one
Is it
wants.
separated? Whatever
Yeah.
has to be separated?
Everything looks each unit is separated for utilities and everything. So that's nice. So I mean, looking at it, it just looks a little crowded for 4 units. I mean, you might have to add parking or something like that, but other than that, I like it. But okay, so that was my big share. As I've been telling people, I've been having fear of getting the next. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of I already have my first duplex, and it's like okay, if the market goes crap, I can pay it off, or I can make the payments myself or something like that. Now that we're going into the next ones, I'm getting over that. Oh, I got to make sure this rents out. I got to make sure I'm doing everything right here. So I'm just doing one base hit at a time for it. for each unit, each property. And so these ones here, they look okay. I mean, I'm willing to share them if you are interested. I would not be upset if you're saying, hey, I want to do it too. So I'm not.
Where's your first property?
So my first property is actually in Akron, Ohio. So because the market is just so, I can't believe it's hot. There's two big issues. It's cheaper than Pittsburgh, so there's a lot of flippers that want to go that way for the single families, and also for some of the multifamilies. But what is happening up in Cleveland is that a lot of the nicer parts are being gentrified, or that were are parts that were more affordable are being gentrified. So a lot of people are moving 30 minutes south to Akron, and so they're either buying up or rent because it's still cheaper to buy in the Akron market than to rent in some ways. But now that's happened, I don't know. I guess now that I'm seeing it, what's happening is that it's one of the lowest inventory. It's still below the pre-pandemic levels of inventory. And so people, it's an affordable market. I don't want to be like disparaging towards it or anything like that, but it's one of those things where you can only raise your rent so high before people start kind of freaking out because they either work in Cleveland or they work locally, and so it's not high paying jobs. And so what you were talking about, like I always keep my rents on the low side to make sure that I cash flow if I have to lower rents because I wasn't sure how the economy was going to look in the future. But I'm doing fine with this one, and it's one of those that I'm not worried about this property at all. But it's like with other markets, I'm just being a little more choosy, and maybe I'm being too nervous about it. So that's all.
Do you have a property manager managing it for you, or do you just doing it on your own?
So, great question. I am using a property manager now. I was using my own, well, I was doing it myself for the first few months. It went fine. It's one of those if nothing's broken, or I mean, I had a really good realtor as well, so I got all the people I needed for it. The issue is that when something goes out at 2 a.m. in the morning, and because it's
And it
Ohio,
always will, and it
and it
always will.
always will, yeah. So it's like, and because this is the Midwest, if the temperatures drop too fast, you need to have someone there ASAP. And you know, once again, I had a great HVAC people, but hey, it's Sunday, it's 2 a.m. I'm not going out there. It's like having a property manager has made that really nice. And the one I have is actually really good. I mean, it's still property manager. You have to manage them. It's just one of those things. It doesn't matter how good they are. You're still gonna have to check in on them. Um, but for the price, make sure that everything's paid. They follow up. I have one tenant who is always consistently late, but does pay the late fee. They deal with the headaches and everything like that. And yeah, so I would honestly, if you're going to invest out of state, I would say at least for the first property, think about getting a reputable because I interviewed, I think, six property managers. This one was the best. There was one that was like, hey, I just go to the doors and collect the rent. The rest is on you. So,
Oh wow,
yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those that if you want that as well, that's very possible. So, I mean, you're going to pay less, but you're also going to get less. So, yeah. So,
gotcha.
yeah. So, I mean, it's for the Pittsburgh market though, there's a few property managers out there. If you want to, you can. There's technology is good enough out there that you could do it, but it's more of a full-time job. So
So what's been your biggest challenge as far as being out of state?
biggest challenge, I think it was, yeah, what I said was just more, I think not being able to respond right away. So if it was me, if I was local, and the HVAC guy didn't come, I would say, all right, I'll go fix it myself. I'm a very DIY person, so it's either way, if like I would always have contingencies if something didn't work.
Hmm.
Being out of state, you have to find your own contingencies that don't include you. I
Yeah.
think for me, that's my biggest hiccup. I know I have enough contacts in the area where I feel comfortable, at least if like my realtor said they'll drive by, they'll look by the house and everything, make sure that it's not on fire or, hammer parties or anything like that. But it's just I've learned on how to because the last three properties I've moved to, I went from Virginia to Oregon, Oregon back to Virginia. I got my places, never saw them in my life, so I got to learn that way. So investing out of state actually wasn't that hard for me, just thinking like, oh, it's imaginary. But the fact that it's there, and I think that was probably the hardest part that I had to get through originally was just not being able to see it. But I mean, I could drive up there now and see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to build up my courage, listen to you guys, and I know a lot of y'all, are in that in that market there, so that's
Yeah.
it's pretty intriguing. And but hey, man, I'm definitely rocking with y'all, and hoping for the best for everybody because it's giving me a little bit more courage to jump out there and jump into a different market as well too. But
Yeah.
you kind of, it's almost kind of like you feel like it's doable because you're watching a whole lot of your peers do it, but it's just still that, jumping into that first one, but
Right.
that's why I said just having other people that that's doing it and doing it well just gives you that much more confidence. And then too, if something is just really just, eating at you, just reach out to your people and just say, hey, what do you think about this or that, So
Yeah, no, you're 100% right because I think that's the biggest thing is sometimes I have friends who just don't have that ability to let go of control. Some people are just
yes.
more like, there's always different reasons. It's like maybe I just can't see it. Maybe it's like,
Yeah.
it's whoever is his own, that's fine. But what makes me feel better also investing I mean, yeah, you're right. A lot of the community invests there. There's also people that are in the community that live there. So I know Steven, he says, hey, I'll drive by and check it out, make sure, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
oh yeah, I mean, talking about having people boots on the ground that are not just your realtor who would just say, "Oh yeah, it looks great. Don't worry about it." So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, no, I agree with you though. It's like making that jump, I think, is the hardest part. But I mean, the property I got, I mean, it's a duplex, it's a base hit, so it's one of those that is it beautiful? Is it amazing? No, but does it cash flow? Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
not, yeah. I mean,
Here's my struggle with there is two philosophy school of thoughts on single families versus multis,
sure.
small multis. The small multis definitely flow, cash flow. The single families appreciate better. And I am still like Zuber confused me because he's saying pick your strategy, pick your buy box, and don't look at anything else.
Right.
But then I read his book and he went from single families to multis. And in his book, he's writing that multis that make him the best cash flow.
Right.
So I'm still confused on what to pick. And to look at all is just too much.
Yes. I guess the way that I did it was, well, Akron was very easy for me because single families didn't cash flow at all. I mean, it was just one of those is that they said that they cash flowed, but if you had to do anything above $1,000 a month, your tenants were going to have heartburn. So, I mean, that was kind of being able to have boots on the ground. For single family, I spoke with Jeremy in one of Mark's lives. He's a realtor. He said that people, I mean, it's just more knowing the community. What do they want? Do they want something that they can call home or something that they can call like, I can make the payments. And for Akron, it was I need to make the payments. That's all that mattered. Most of them were like, I don't care about the white picket fence or anything like that. It sounds like Pittsburgh is more of there's still people there that want the white picket fence. They want the backyard for their families and everything like that. So for his book as well, I agree. I mean, he had 8 single families and then sold everything to get the multis.
And
I
the
guess
cash flow comparison is like night and
night and day.
day.
Yeah.
But then I definitely know that my strategy, 15, 20 years max, I have to dispose.
Right.
And disposing of single families is going to produce definitely different return than multis.
Right.
And I also belong to Maria Association, which is Metro or whatever New Jersey thing. So there is a president of
Hmm.
that association who is heavily investing in Pittsburgh. She's buying 10 to 12 houses a year.
Yeah.
She's selling all her multis and converting them to singles
Wow.
because of many reasons, but saying the way renters in single family homes take care of their properties is definitely different than the mentality of the people who rent in multis, what she has to deal with compared to they never leave. Once they got there in the school district they want to stay there. It appreciates more. So, but at the same time, it's everybody's situation is different. She's in her 70s. She transferring business to her son, and she's going into growth phase when she just worry about net worth. She doesn't worry about cash flow.
Right.
So I guess I'm so confused with everybody's strategies because everybody is doing it with in the context of their number one, W2 or not,
Yep.
number two, age,
Yep.
number three, geographic proximity, and it's different for everybody. So they're making these decisions within context.
Yeah.
So right
Yeah.
now, Jeremy signed me up on the listings, both multis and singles. You're absolutely right. Singles don't cash flow, and if they do cash flow, it's going to be what, $100?
Yeah.
But I have almost repulsed feelings of those multis and the renters type that goes there. And I told Jeremy, like, it's very hard for me to invest the C market and B market cash flow, but like, if I don't understand mentality of the people, I don't know how to invest right. I need to buy the products I understand. I
Right.
understand A market. I don't understand C market,
Yeah, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
but nothing cash flow.
right, it doesn't cash flow. I know.
This is what's wrong with it.
Yeah. I mean, but it's one of those that's like you're saying you're playing the 20-year game. So if you're saying that, well, the A market's always going to be the A market. So, okay. I mean, and that's the biggest thing is that you're not going to get the immediate cash flow that you would for the B's and C's. So, but you're playing more the appreciation game. But as long as it cash flows, there's nothing wrong with
Once
it.
again, Zuber
You
says
know?
never play appreciation game.
Never, never. I would never. But it's just one of those is that it's more of just knowing your locate or knowing your group as well. That's the biggest thing for me. Is that I mean I grew up in B's and C's, so it's I know my people kind of thing. So it's
I know.
yeah, yeah.
I had one presenter in the workshop who made a killing in Section 8 in
Oh
a
yeah,
C area, but he grew up there.
right.
Nobody in there like would walk there in the daylight. It was transitioning from D to C. He said, I just know where to walk.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like literally, but he grew up there.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying is that just that you may not get the cash flow that you want, but you just, I mean, it's more playing the waiting game. If you know that this is going to be a solid area and you're cash flowing okay, I mean, that's the thing is that when you go A's, yeah, you're not going to cash flow. That's every market. I mean, I've not found an A market where I would find saying, oh, this is amazing cash flow. It's like, yeah, okay, you'll appreciate $50. But if you're saying that, yeah,
Well, what I asked Jeremy is tell me where the B markets are that on a trajectory to project to A markets within
right.
next 5 years.
Yeah, that's another way to do it as well, is that if you know where the air markets are, just look at the surrounding areas that might be a little worse. I mean, that also works as well. I mean, for me, the hard part about Richmond, Virginia sometimes is that you have your A areas, but then the next market you have like A D C. It's like it's all over the place, and you just like it's so strange, but it's it is what it is. But with I mean, with Akron, it's that's actually what I did was that I know exactly where the A section is. I mean, these houses are, I mean, they're mansions, but they're 500,000. You're just like, how is a mansion 500,000? But that's a different story. But I kind of pulled out and saw I got the B minus area. So these are the people that go and are nearby these locations because they may work for these families or do stuff like that and stuff. So
And
I mean,
they
that's
need to
another way to
rent.
do it. Yeah. So that's other ways to do it.
I think the reason, like, I couldn't find the geographic out of state place to invest for a long, long time for many reasons, but mostly I couldn't understand the markets.
Hmm.
And like Pittsburgh, I can understand because it's very similar to what happened in New Jersey. You have your technological, financial, industrial hub,
Right.
and you have surrounding areas in the A because it's so close, everybody has job, and
Right.
then it begins to spread. Like now you 10 minutes away from Pittsburgh becomes NA areas and 20 minutes. At least this is what happened in New Jersey, and I'm
Right.
yet to visit Pittsburgh. Then 30 minutes away from Pittsburgh becomes an area. So
Right.
if it spreads like that and grows with a working community, then like you said, just look at areas
Right.
near.
So this is the interesting thing about Pittsburgh. It's not really a city. It's a conglomeration of different towns. And then so there's actually manufacturing parts. So you're going to find something nearby, especially if you stay on the southern side, maybe a little bit on the northeast. No, I'm sorry, northwest. Is like that's where a lot of the companies are. But once
Northwest.
again, northwest, yeah. Yeah,
I
so it's
want them
like
to
if
have a job. I want them to have a
right,
job.
exactly. And that's what I'm looking at as well. And the areas that I showed are in the western side. And so that's more where I'm looking at as well. It's like I'm trying to see it's like A is it like would they be more and also kind of understanding what kind of jobs are potentially there. It's like for me, it's like I've always been interested in truckers. It's like, so are they near major veins or like are they near like the zero highways or the or near the fives? Like can they go across or up? I mean, that's something that I've really been interested as well. I mean, the property that I have in Ohio, it's right near what was it 77, so it's like easy in, easy out, no problem. It's I mean, I try and find ways to make it or find the properties that are convenient for everybody. So like multiple ways in and out. So
There goes in and out. And at least 2 and 3 companies nearby. And
yeah,
nearby, I mean within 30 minutes, max
right.
40 minutes commute.
Right. And that's the benefit about having Jeremy with you is that he grew up in the area. He grew up in Butler. He knows the South Side really well. So I mean, he'll tell you what it's like. Yeah, you might not do well there, or yeah, it's he's very honest about that. And what I would say is that I would just really go for that. I mean, who is it, Lars? I mean, I don't know how he did it, but he got a property within his first 30 days. So,
Who?
so.
Who did that?
Oh no, Lars, he got his first property within like the 30 days of switching markets because he was in Delaware originally and then went to you know, so yeah.
Well, if you're ready, you're ready. I
Yeah,
mean,
when you're ready, you're ready. I was just like, wow. I'm like you. I need to study my market. I need to know what's going on and everything. So that's all. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I hope this helps. Yeah. But I mean, for me, it's like I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like maybe I'm just thinking too much about switching markets, or I'm just thinking too much about what I need. But thankfully, it's like Mark, who's here. Hey, Mark, kicked me in the butt. And says I'm being a scaredy cat. So,
I have never said those words.
oh,
I may have said
I made it
you
family
remind me
friendly.
of Chester a little bit, but I have never said,
Oh,
nah, I'm just playing.
oh. Oh, that hurt. That hurt.
I see Val laughing
I
over
know.
there. Look at Val, man. Cruising along.
I know. I love it.
Val,
Yeah.
you gotta say something. I just want to hear the voice a little bit.
What do you need me to say, Mark?
Yeah, that's all.
What do you
I'm
need
good.
me to say?
I'm good for the day.
How how are you doing today, sir?
That's all I wanted to hear. Just hear the
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah, how are you today?
Good, man. How you been?
Hey man, no complaints, brother. Just
I just,
hey, you
I,
see, out here driving my life away.
I just talked to Bree, the Tampa realtor.
Okay.
She's willing to come on.
Okay. She's a hoot.
Nice.
She is
Yeah,
a hoot.
yeah.
Yeah, she is a hoot. Yeah.
She is hilarious.
Yeah, she is. Good stuff.
So yeah, she'll be on. She said she'll love to do some lives and everything.
Okay. Look at you, man. You just grow in this community, man, with just when all within yourself. You're a bad
Exactly.
man. Everybody told you that. You're a bad man.
Well, I told her this trucker sent me a reel, and it just had me laughing.
Yeah. Well, man, it's like I sit up here all day and I'll go through stuff, just looking for real estate stuff. And she, like I said, she popped up, she was a realtor, and I started listening. And I'm like, okay, so and another troublemaker. So I said, well, hey, let me send this to him and see what he thinks about it.
She says she's getting a lot of leads from it. Her
Oh,
reels.
I can imagine she's probably killing it, bro. Because I
Yeah,
think everybody looks for that one single cookie cutter, really pretty, really charming to sell them a house, dressed very nice versus somebody that's kind of off the cuff,
yeah,
something totally different. And and hey, people like different.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, people like different. So, Mr. Trade Better, you've done a great job today. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Val.
Yep, no worries.
Yep.
I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm gonna let y'all finish talking.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just driving.
No, you're good. You're good.
So did I hear correctly? You connected with Jeremy?
Who? Me or?
Not you. I know you connected with Jeremy.
It as well, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Jeremy's a good guy. Yeah.
Um, Mark, did you ever send people to see that property you showed us?
Oh, shoots. I don't remember which one. Which one was
Six
it?
bedrooms or something big?
Uh, what do you know
What
the
was?
price range that one was?
No, like it was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that was like the Aliquippa, like the one with
Yeah.
the house in the back and the front, like two separate
Mm,
buildings.
yeah, there's a few I was looking at. One went under contract already. Jeremy was looking at that one for Brian, who's also um in the school, or he's not in school, but he's in the ORAC community. Brian just closed on a quad with Jeremy, but Brian was looking at this other one, but it was at 250, but it's under contract already in like 5 days, 10 days or whatever. They said there was like 40 people at that one at the showing. Um, I think the one that I put in the chat that one day, um, I think if the rents were so the house is vacant, the duplex is tenant occupied, and the rents are under market. So I think that's why they're having a hard time moving it right now. So I think it was listed at two 290 originally. It's at
Yeah, sounds
270.
right.
It's at 274 right now. And then I told them 240 and they
Yeah,
said no. And they said supposedly they declined the 260 offer. So that was like a couple weeks ago. And then just the other day we told them 240 is still out there. And then they said they'll do 249 as is. You can do inspection, but they'd like a 30-day close. And then I just told them,
pound sand.
yeah, I have some other stuff I'm looking at, so I just told them we'll get back to them, just because Alex might give me something off market, another triplex. So I'm waiting to
Nice.
get more information on that one first.
Mark, for you, it's Maltese, right?
Up until now, no. All of mine are single family up until now, but um, I mean, yeah, there's a lot more multis that I'm looking at now, but there's a couple of single families that I put off. I mean, I just told them whatever 100K, and then they said no at the time. But they're coming back now, and but I want to know more from Alex on this triplex that one of his clients might be selling. So I'm just waiting for more information on that one.
So what is your like philosophy about how do you go about choosing? Is it single or multis?
Uh, honestly, I don't get at that technical. Harrison and Mikey, those guys are the very technical ones. I mean, I'm more. I tell everyone this. I'm more of a. I have that first responder mentality that I'm gonna just kick the door down and we'll figure it out. But it's I, I don't know if you how much you follow Zuber, Coach
Mhm.
Carson, even
Coach
Cody
Carson.
Davis, even Cody Davis. Now, if you notice, a lot of them are really starting to promote that small and mighty mindset. I don't, even Zuber mentioned if he could, he would have all single family homes in his portfolio.
Why?
Um, the tenants stay longer.
Mm.
It's you have it also depends how the utilities are set up, but
Hmm.
for him, the tenant that you have better tenants, you have people that want to stay there longer. Because most people that you know traditionally live in multi-families, that they're trying to upgrade to a home, so they're gonna be moving out at some point. People that are living in single-family homes typically may treat it as a home because their intention is to stay there a lot longer. So he has touched on that where if he was and if he could do it again, he'd be happy with having just a 20 single family home portfolio. And that's definitely I'm kind of that blend of I think Dion and Zuber where less headaches, um, smaller and mighty, more efficiency, um doesn't of course when you first get started I had the vision of having this huge portfolio, but then as you do it you start realizing like, oh, this is more work than I thought.
I'm sorry, what is more work, singles or multis?
Having a bigger portfolio,
Yeah.
like
Ah,
having a huge portfolio, and just having single family homes too, it does allow you a little more variety for exit strategies. Yeah. You typically have investors and homeowners wanting to purchase your homes instead of maybe strictly investors, right? I mean, but definitely house hacking is getting more popular, so you do have a lot more people willing to buy multifamilies now. But I don't know if maybe I gotta look for it. Mikey sent me this article also about Pittsburgh. I forgot who wrote it, but they were talking about how um, that smaller homes, kind of the small single family homes, are getting very attractive to people now. So that's why, like I said, like Zuber, definitely. He said if he could, if he, if he was starting over, like that small single family home portfolio would be ideal for him.
but you would never be able to scale.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, I think a lot of people scaling after a while is not the goal. You realize like how much do you really need? Like how much is your end goal? Like how many when you say scale, what are you looking at, right? Like how many units do you want? Right? Like I don't know if you follow Dion too much, but like he is definitely the least amount of units with the most amount of cash flow, right? And if you can do that with 8 properties, then for a lot of people that's the goal, right? I
Right.
mean, even like Cody Davis, like I said, I don't know if you follow him too much, but him and Cody had this him and Christian were partners in multifamily space, and they did a lot of seller finance. They no money down. They were buying apartment units. This huge portfolio. But even Cody is scaling back because he realizes that it's a lot of work to run all these properties and have this huge portfolio. So he's definitely trying to scale back and become more efficient because he realizes that you don't necessarily. I mean, some people want it, but he wants the time freedom, right? That he he's getting married and he wants to have a family and um, it's more about traveling and enjoying life, and so it's also how what kind of I guess end goal. So like when you say scale, what does that mean to you?
Replacement of your income. If you buy something that cash flows like a single family, 200 a month, then it's gonna, and your money tied up to buy another property, it's going to take you forever and ever to accumulate 20 properties to replace your income. Where with multis, you can do it faster,
Right. You can do it
but then
faster.
you have to dispose of multis.
Right. I mean, it's more planning for the long run. I mean, for my properties, it's that, yeah, Mark's right, is that you have the consistency of cash flow. And then once again, you're playing for that time of the more you pay your property off. And also that means, A, you're potentially getting more cash flow, and then rents are also more than likely going to go up. Not that you're guaranteeing them, but making sure that. So, I mean, by the time at 20 years, all of a sudden, it's fantastic. But I mean, the first 5 years, I will say it's like, okay, I'm cash flowing $400. Big whoop. It's not going to change but at the same
Yeah.
time, is that the value of the house has gone up. I'll be able to raise rents in the next few years. I'm raising rents on one of them this year. My other tenant, I'm like, she already pays well enough. I'm not changing it at all because she's at the market median and she's a wonderful tenant. I'm not doing anything. Other one, a little under market, and now going to market. So,
On Zuber's Daily this morning. I don't know if you heard that, but he was talking about what the four markets and the thousands of houses that they were building, but they were
mhm,
built to rent. They were built to rent,
yeah,
and so I hear exactly what you're saying. So it's almost like you know invest. But like Dion says, invest in the next 5 years, go hard if you can, invest in the next 5 years because you're going to be here. But if all the new construction is going to be built to rent, then it's like, man, you better go ahead on and start picking up units where you can because who's to say in the next 10 years, all the new houses, they'll already be programmed out for people to rent, not necessarily
right,
buy. So because I got a buddy of mine, uh, there in Winston already. There was a company. There's a buddy of mine. He's a truck driver as well. His whole neighborhood is being bought out, or a lot of it has been bought out by a company down in Atlanta already.
yeah,
And this Winston Salem, and Zuber did say North Carolina this morning. I think it was like 14,000 new homes were scheduled to be, built to rent. And,
yeah,
so as investors, it's like, oh crap. But what it's also saying too, you know, God bless these folks who's coming up behind us that don't know what's before them because, nobody's going to be able to own a home,
right,
so.
Yeah, I think that's why. So like Zuber, I would say he doesn't necessarily have a strategy. His is just whatever the yield or whatever you want to call it, cash
yeah,
on cash is. If the multi makes sense, yes. If the single family home makes sense, yes. Whereas, Matt Lumberjack definitely is small multis. Like he's gonna
mhm,
live and die by that, telling you the single family home is the short bus way to do it. You know, Dion has hit, but I think Zuber is definitely for him. It doesn't matter to him. It is just the yield and the numbers and whatever makes sense. And um, you know, there's many ways to scale, I guess, in a sense, right? I mean, um, each one has their own advantages, right? You know, you're going to find different tenant base for each type of property you buy. But it's just having the the chips on the table to basically have the pieces to navigate, right? And figure out how you're gonna like leverage it, like you said, right? So, you know, multifamily, you know, might give you some different resources to scale in that sense. You know, single family homes might give you some other resources to scale. Um, but I think just the return and getting like Val kind of touched on is gobbling up the pieces right now, you know, before all these build to rents come into the markets and whatnot. So whatever
I'm
assets you can acquire, right?
yeah, but that was a key point for me for Zuber to be as deep in the game as he is, for him to double back to say, hey, if I had to do it all over again, I would do 20 properties, 20 single family homes. And so when I heard that, I was like, oh man, but we all, and I feel like, that's the cool part about it. Everybody can jump into different, different, different things, especially if that market will support that. See, like where I'm at, it's not a lot of duplexes. Pittsburgh, it seems like
Right.
it's multiple duplexes. Cleveland, Ohio. I looked at Cleveland, Ohio, just to get into a duplexes. So you have certain areas that's keen on duplexes and triplexes. But if you're in a market to where it's not that, now here it is. You're trying to dig out the whole, they say, you got to have duplex, you got to have multifamilies. If that don't exist where you're at, then you just, you got to get in the game. So
Right.
if that's single families, then jump into single families and make that work until something else comes available. But
Or jump period, right? Or jump period.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Like you said, jump in a game.
Yeah. Just get in the game. A lot of them say that because I mean, like I said, I beat my head against the wall because I thought that was the coolest thing ever was to, oh man, that duplex. You got two rents under one building, a duplex, two. And I'm like, there's no duplexes here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's a few, but it's not a plethora like it's gonna be up in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh my goodness. I ran through Cleveland, Ohio, I'm like, oh man, I gotta get me one. And but then it was just like, okay, that was a little out of reach. Didn't really know anybody. So I just started looking elsewhere to do something else. And here it is. I'm back and look at single family homes. So
Elena,
not saying I wouldn't buy one, but yeah. Go ahead, Mark. I'm
Mike,
sorry.
no, I was gonna say Mikey, the technician, is here. I call him the technician. So he's in Hawaii. He's also investing in Pittsburgh. But as far as running their numbers, him and Harrison would be the technical guys. Mikey, get off mute, man.
Sorry, dumb question. You guys mentioned Dion. Who is Dion? Is he now a community?
Yeah. Dion McNeely. He's a
McNeely. I
yeah.
find him.
So he'll have you think. He'll definitely he comes with his contrarian views and really make you think about a different viewpoint on things. And like I mentioned, he's definitely um, least amount of doors, but with the most amount of cash flow. So I believe he
Mm-hmm.
only has 8 units, maybe, but multi. So maybe,
Six,
yeah,
16. Yeah, you're right. Like
yeah,
8
like six.
properties, but 16 units, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he I think he cash flows like 20K a month or something around there, maybe.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's been, he's been doing it for like 10 years, and you know, but definitely he's on that. I want the least amount of um doors, right? But just the most amount of cash flow. So, but there's Mikey with Dion's link.
Oh,
It's like,
beat me
Thank you,
to it,
Mikey.
Mikey. Yeah, but
So
Yeah, I
Mike,
would say that he shows it. It's like just plan for the 10 years and then it's all of a sudden that's where it really grows up. For like you're thinking $200, it'll go into $1,000.
got a
I
party
never
going
look
on
at it
now.
this way. Yeah, I know I'm in the long game, but I didn't. Yeah, thank you. I keep forgetting that it's stabilization stage is different than when it's
Right.
actually.
Andy, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Andy might be looking at a self-storage unit. Someone
Ooh.
brought to him.
Sweet.
I guess Mikey. I know Mikey's working, so he might not be able
Yeah.
to talk. But Elena, yeah, definitely. Mikey is the. Oh, he signed up for the Cody's. Or no, Christian's. Christian has a
Oh, okay.
multifamily
Yeah.
course in school. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, because I know Christian's course is like $8,000 or something crazy. Like
No, it's Christian's course, right? Or no?
Yeah, Christian. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, it's Christian's. Yeah.
I think the course is 8,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that come with the house?
I know, right? I was just,
Yes. I know.
I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I like you, Christian, but no.
Um, yeah. So next, Elaine, I don't know if you subscribe to my channel, but I just interviewed this guy Omar. He's a contractor in Pittsburgh. So he's someone Jeremy's done burrs with, and he uses Omar also. And then next Friday, Omar and Alex, Jeremy's boss, basically, will be on a live stream with me on Friday. So Alex is kind of, I call him Yoda. He's like that veteran, you know, retired, kind of in retirement mode already. So Jeremy is works for Alex's brokerage.
Mhm.
But Alex and Omar will be on next Friday.
So,
Thank you. I'll put a note. And
Yeah.
you're going to announce it on the channel, or how do I find out when it is?
I they might get, I don't know, you guys that are subscribed, do you guys get notified when the lives get come on?
uh,
I do. I get a
yeah,
notification. Once if you go to YouTube and then find your, and then I think it's like when you subscribe all, and then I think when you subscribe all, like 30 minutes before you go on live, I
yeah,
get a notification. Yeah.
right. Yeah, do that, and then also with what's the other one? Um, Instagram as well. Instagram pushes that everything. It's like, oh, live. It's going live. So that way I know how to hop on as well. So I have multiple ways to get reminded.
Yeah. I don't even know. Who am I on with tomorrow? Shit, I don't even know. I got like 5 days straight. I got lives. I forget who I'm on with tomorrow. Shit. Oh, you're on Wednesday, right? Next week,
Yeah,
Harrison.
Wednesday next week with
Yeah, you'll
Kevin.
be, yeah, with Kevin. So Andy's gonna reach out to Kevin and talk about the self-storage.
Nice. Ooh, I can't wait to hear. Yeah. No.
Joe will be back on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I'll get him back on.
Yeah, he's been gone for a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Omar was a good guy. Omar is super cool, super motivated. Yeah, so I wanna, I know a lot of people that want to do some burrs with him, I think.
Okay, great. I mean, yeah, that's gonna be the big thing is that I think having handyman contractors, I think that's gonna be the biggest thing for whatever market you're in. And if you have, yeah, that's the one thing I do like about Pittsburgh is that there is a lot of help in that area because Akron's pretty good. I'm good with that. But where I used to live in a town further west in Virginia, you did not get those. You handymen were very hard to come by. And that really can tank a market for rentals. So
Let me ask a question right quick.
go for it.
I've been noticing a lot. Mark, you too. These now I thought about it now. I can't even think of what it's called. These service companies. Is anybody? What do you think about these service contracts? You're talking about contractors, but I'm starting to see more and more and more. So you'll have like the plumber, the electrician, and the HVAC guy, like
Right.
all under one umbrella. You know, they driving around the trucks. What do you think about those services?
No.
No.
I'll be so this is me being honest, is that
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with them. I actually had one in Ohio that I used for electrical work. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, oh yeah, help me with the HVAC and plumbing. They
Right.
did not. The problem is that these companies have high overhead, and so they will charge you through the nose for everything. And that's what it killed me was that okay, gave me a great price. That was kind of like the teaser price for getting my panels fixed. Then all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden, do my plumbing. I asked, hey, this is what I need to get done. They're like, no, we'll tell you what needs to get done. I was like, okay, that's a strike.
Right.
And
Right.
then after that, I got quoted, what was it? 15,000 for the first one, and the work was for both units 4,000. So I went with the other guy. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
I knew some of them back in the day used to kind of be on some kind of a subscription
right,
type deal. Like you paid so much and they would just come out. I think you pay like a showing up fee or, $100 show up fee or
right,
something like that. So I didn't know. I'm starting to see a lot of them pop up here and there. And so uh, we was in Jacksonville this past weekend and there was
yeah,
a company. We went and looked at a condo for my daughter and it was I think it was called All Weather. I
yeah.
mean, they had places in Ohio, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida. And like I said, they the whole kit and caboodle. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like there's Michael and Sons, there's the other ones out there that
Right.
they'll do your work for you, and for the most
Yeah.
part they do it pretty well. But it's just you're gonna pay probably I would tack on another 50% for usually what you could pay with the mom and pop group.
Yeah. Sure.
So
Okay. No worries.
no, yeah, no, I just
Yeah.
yeah,
Look, I just try to throw anything and everything out there, throw it out there and just see
no,
what happens. Cause like I said, we're all in this together. So it's like,
exactly.
hey, if you can catch a come up here or there, then I feel like, hey, that's what it's all about.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Because that was the big thing for as well as like I was paying the $30 a month. I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, so it made calls free. So if they ever went out to look at something, it's like, oh yeah, that's free.
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, then it's like, oh, the work is for what was it? Cleaning my HEPA filter. They wanted to charge 450 for it. Just for the plate. I was like, no, absolutely not. So
Yeah. Look, look, I'm throwing this out there, but
yeah, yeah.
this obviously got to be for the homeowners. This is definitely not for the investors. You
Right.
know. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
So
I think that's exactly it. It's if you have a
yeah.
homeowner that is like, I don't know anything about
Yeah.
property, I don't know anything about,
Yeah.
so
Because we see something like that, and we're like, oh no,
ooh.
I'll make a couple phone calls for it. Or like you said, hey, I'll hop in the car and come over there myself, and we're gonna
Exactly.
watch a couple YouTube videos until I get there. That's kind of like me too. I'm kind of like,
Yeah,
I'll watch a couple YouTube videos once I get in here, and if it's not what I'm seeing on YouTube, I got a couple people I can call.
exactly.
But at least I gave it a try. But
Right.
hey, yeah. Yep,
Yeah, no,
yep,
that's
yep, for
100%.
sure.
I agree. So,
Yep, cool stuff.
yeah, and you got Andy here who will actually think something through with you, which is I appreciate that. So, yeah. Yeah. But all right, we've been going hour 10. Don't want to keep everybody here, but yeah, thank you so much for everyone. Is any final questions or thoughts or statements?
I'm good. I'm good,
All
man. It's
right.
been good. It's been
Yeah,
good. It's always good, man. So talk this talk. I love it.
agreed. I appreciate you
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So,
Appreciate you, bro. Great show
uh,
today.
thanks so much. Have a
Yep.
good
All
afternoon,
right.
everyone.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yep. You
Have
too.
a great afternoon.
Thank you
All
so
right. You
much.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.